Welcome to the What If Ask AI channel. On this channel, we ask multiple AI services what if questions. The what if questions was made back in my childhood when I was asked to put all my questions in a binder because my family was tired of me asking them all the questions I had in mind. Now, later in the future, I'm taking the questions I made from my childhood and asking the AI services the questions and reviewing and judging their responses. I hope you enjoy this channel.
Welcome back to the What If Ask AI channel, and today we are looking at this question. What if someone busted into your house while the police was right in your house? As always, I have 5 AI services I'm using: ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Perplexity, and Meta AI. And I also have 2 example questions that were answered by 2 of my colleagues to help give the AI services an example of the output I'm looking for. So let's start with Copilot by asking it that question and seeing what its response is. ChatGPT's answer is, well, in that case, the situation would likely be handled immediately since the police are already present and trained to respond to something like that. It would probably be resolved quickly and the officers would take control of the situation. Now let's see what Copilot says. Copilot's answer is the following. I'd say that would be an incredibly strange coincidence, and the officers would probably be just as surprised as you. At least you'd already have help standing right there, which is about as lucky as that situation could get. Now let's see what Gemini's response is to the question. Gemini's response is, well, that would certainly be a bold and incredibly poorly timed move on their part. In that scenario, you essentially have a front row seat to the world's fastest police response. Since the officers are already on site, the situation would likely be contained almost instantly. It's safe to say that luck would not be on that person's side that day. Now let's see what Perplexity's response is. So here's Perplexity's answer to the question. Well, that would be some wild timing. I'd say the intruder picked the worst possible moment and you'd be in pretty safe hands with the police already there. Let's see Meta AI's response. That's a wild scenario. If somebody busted into your house while the police were already there, I'm pretty sure the police would handle it immediately. Talk about bad timing for the intruder. Okay, now I'm going to be going through the ranking for each of the AI services in regards to this question. So each service will get a number, 1 to 5, 5 being the worst, number 1 being the best. And this is based off of my opinion. So at number 5, I had ChatGPT. The response was overall good. It mentioned the logic of the police being trained and being there to handle situations like that. But the only reason I gave it a 5 was because all the other AI services I felt provided a better answer than ChatGPT. So that's why I put it at number 5. For number 4, I put Copilot. And Copilot, the reason I put it at number 4 was because it mentioned that how it could be an incredibly strange coincidence that the person busts into your house while the police is right there. So I liked those choices of words it had, so that's the reason I put it at 4. For 3, I had Perplexity, and the reason I put Perplexity as 3 was because it mentioned wild timing. I like that phrase right there. It mentioned how the intruder basically picked the worst moment to do their action while the police was there. And then for 2, I had Meta AI, which is very similar to how Perplexity responded. It said wild scenario, Perplexity said wild timing, and then it also mentioned bad timing for the intruder, similar to what Perplexity said. But the reason I put this as number 2 and Perplexity as number 3 was because it said that's a wild scenario. And when it says scenario, I'm not sure if it's catching on to our what if questions that I put in each week. If it is, that is, I don't know what to say to that. That's amazing if it's catching on. So that's why I put it as number 2. And then number 1, I put as Gemini. And I did it for a few reasons. One, it mentioned how the criminal would basically picked an incredibly poor time to move on their part to do their action at that point when the police was in the person's house. And then also a part that almost made me laugh when I was kind of reading it was it said that you would have a front row seat to the world's fastest police response. So that made me laugh in my head when I read it. So that's why I put it as number 1. So just to go over my ranking choices again, ChatGPT is 5, Copilot is 4, Perplexity is 3, MedAI is 2, and Gemini is 1. And thank you for listening to this episode of What If Ask AI, and I'll see you in the next episode.